Bonjour. In this grammar video, we will look at the form and usage of le futur. Like other tenses, le futur is formed by taking the future stem and adding the future endings. This is the same as other tenses, including the present and the imparfait, except that both the stem and the endings are different. In most cases, the future stem is the same as the infinitive. The only exception is RE verbs, where the E drops off. And so, the conjugation of parler in le futur is je parlerai, tu parleras, il parlera, elle parlera, nous parlerons, vous parlerez, ils parleront, elles parleront. Note that there is a distinction in the pronunciation of il singular and il plural. Parlera, parleront. In all cases, for all verbs, the endings are always the same. And so the conjugation of the verb finir in the futur is je finirai, tu finiras, il finira, elle finira, nous finirons, vous finirez, ils finiront, elles finiront. The conjugation of perdre in the future is similar. Je perdrai, tu perdras, il perdra, elle perdra, nous perdrons, vous perdrez, ils perdront, elles perdront. The conjugation of pronominal verbs in the future is similar. You take the future stem of the verb, which in this case is the same as the infinitive, and you add the future endings, and you change the pronouns as well. And so the conjugation of se laver in the future is je me laverai, tu te laveras, il se lavera, elle se lavera, nous nous laverons, vous vous laverez, ils se laveront, elles se laveront. There are a number of exceptions, however. For verbs that end in I, accent aigu, followed by a consonant, and then ER, that accent aigu changes to an accent grave throughout the conjugation. If there is more than one accent aigu in the verb, only the last one changes. And so the conjugation of répéter is je répéterai, tu répéteras, and so on, with that accent grave throughout the conjugation. Another exception is when you have E without any accents at all, followed by a consonant and then ER. In this case, the E changes to an E accent grave. And so the conjugation of this form is similar to that of répéter, préférer, and suggérer. And so the conjugation of lever in the future is je leverai, tu leveras, and so on, with that accent grave throughout the conjugation. Another exception is verbs like appeler and jeter, which are similar to verbs like acheter, promener, and lever, except that instead of an accent grave, you double the consonant. And so the conjugation of jeter in the future is je jetterai, tu jetteras, and so on, with the double T throughout the conjugation. There are also a number of verbs with stems that are a bit more irregular. Unfortunately here there is no pattern, and you simply have to memorize them. So for example, the future stem of être is ser, for avoir is heure, for aller is ir, for faire is faire, for devoir is devre, and for vouloir is voudre. Note that in all cases the future stem ends with an R. And so, for example, the conjugation of the verb aller is j'irai, tu iras, il ira, elle ira, nous irons, vous irez, ils iront, elles iront. And the conjugation of faire is je ferai, tu feras, il fera, elle fera, nous ferons, vous ferez, ils feront, elles feront. There are other irregular stems in the future listed in the textbook and online. The future is used to discuss events that have not yet happened. So, for example, ils arriveront dans une heure. They will arrive in an hour. This is something that has not happened yet. It will happen in the future. Another example, je vous repayerai demain. I will pay you back tomorrow. This is an event in the future. It has not yet happened. You use the future tense. And finally, un jour, nous nous promènerons à Paris. One day, we will stroll around in Paris. Most often, le futur is identical in meaning with the future expressed with aller. So, for example, Paul fera la cuisine is identical in meaning with Paul va faire la cuisine. They both mean Paul will do the cooking. Similarly, vous lui direz la vérité means the same thing as vous allez lui dire la vérité. In both cases, the meaning is you'll tell her the truth. However, sometimes le futur is perceived as less certain than the future expressed with aller. So, for example, un jour je visiterai Paris, one day I will visit Paris, has a different nuance than cet été je vais visiter Paris. This summer I will visit Paris. In the first, we are talking about one day, a day that might happen, a day that might not happen. And so the element of doubt is a little bit greater. Un jour je visiterai Paris, and in that case, you are more likely to use le futur. When things are far more certain, when plans have been settled, for example, cet été je vais visiter Paris, this summer I will visit Paris, then you tend to use the future with aller to express the idea that you're going to Paris is more likely to happen. Un jour je visiterai Paris, less likely. Cet été je vais visiter Paris, more likely. But again, most of the time, there is no difference in the meaning of the two forms. Finally, there are a number of cases when the usage of the futur is different from that of the future in English. For example, it is used in both clauses in sentences that begin in French with quand, lorsque, dès que, and aussitôt que. Quand and lorsque meaning when, and dès que and aussitôt que meaning as soon as. So, for example, quand mon réveil sonnera, je me leverai. When my alarm goes off, I will get up. In English, alarm goes off, that is in the present tense, but in French you use le futur. Quand mon réveil sonnera. And so the future is in both parts. Sonnera, leverai. Another example, tu partiras aussitôt que le bus arrivera. You will leave as soon as the bus arrives. In English, the bus arrives is in the present, but in French with aussitôt que, both parts go in le futur. Tu partiras aussitôt que le bus arrivera. And finally, lorsque Claire me téléphonera, je lui parlerai. When Claire calls me, I will talk to her. In English, Claire calls me is in the present, but again in French, you use le futur. Lorsque Claire me téléphonera, je lui parlerai.